Blitz is not only a shooter game, it's more like a riddle, or rather one riddle after another. There are lots of situations that require some thinking, so I want to just dive a bit deeper into those replays here and just try to point out these situations that made the game be a good one and where they could have gone wrong potentially as well. So let's get started with the first game here. It is a Bolt Carrier, or Bolt it is. He was called Bolt Carrier in the past, a friend of mine. And he is playing on his E100 with that stock gun on mines. By the way, I've recently released a map guide about mines as well. So if you're interested in just checking out some more positions about that, I highly recommend watching that one. But let's get into the game here. He is going for the city, a move that I usually do not do all too often. A lot of people love to do this. And if I go to the city, I mostly go for the corner. Bolt does not decide to go for the corner, which is kind of a bold move, I've got to say. The big risk here of moving into the city is that you might get trapped there. Still, in E100 does have the option of taking a lot of shots, does have the option of holding up a lot of enemies. And just to pause here real quick already, just to point that out, just look at this to the sides. It is absolutely fine for him. He is a strong player, he knows about this, he does have tanks covering him from the side. So there are 4 tanks here left to his side that can cover him quite nicely if he got pushed onto. If anyone was going for him frontally, that would not really be an issue, because those enemies crossing the roads here, crossing in between the houses, they will most likely get hammered by all those strong TDs to the side. So for Bolt, it's absolutely fine to be here. He can farm quite nicely. He does have a side scraping position, which is absolutely perfect for an E100. He can sit here. He can also have some eyes on the TD position. Always worth going for some blind shots occasionally if you're not having any other opportunities, but obviously mostly I would not try to go for blind shots if I'm having better shots elsewhere and can put in some safe damage. So here was just fine. Unfortunately, did not hit that 183, but he could still farm the Kranwagen. The Kranwagen is not in a good spot. The Kranwagen did go for the corner, which potentially is a good move for the Kranwagen, because the Kran can get hull down at the corner. And look at those guys, like, which are still in on the left side here. He can look towards the team spawn, but as the Kran does have some A100 to the front, he is out of position. He would need to reposition there. The Kran should maybe go for the hill again, should maybe just also join the AMX M4 in pushing the E100. If the Kran, especially if it's plying with calibrated shells, it wouldn't be too much of an issue to penetrate that turret. So the Kran could decide to out-trade the E100, reload a full clip and try to just put out multiple shots with heat into the turret. That should be possible, but the Kran is just standing in the open there. It's not good for him. It only lost all his hit points for nothing. Especially after taking 1 or 2 hits, he should have understood that maybe it's not just the best decision to keep doing the same thing that was not working out the first time. So yeah, how's the saying go? Doing something that doesn't work out for more than one time is a sign of insanity, or something along the lines there. Alright, the Kran is out. Also the Murat just horribly misplayed and YOLO'd in there. This is the first big shot that Bolt is actually taking. The 183 does have a ton of penetration, just butters through the turret here. It is kind of fine. Just looking at the trades here, Bolt managed to rack up 3.8k damage for taking 1 big shot only. That's pretty good. Let me just quickly pause here real quick. So Bolt put out a nice snapshot into the AMX M4, and he does see there is a 268 coming for him. What he does is very clever here. He is immediately falling back. He knows, of course, there is some backup to the side still. Yes, that is not gone, but it's still not going to work if he just keeps standing there. Just look at this. The 183 is there, and there is the Yak as well. They can shoot into the city area here. They can potentially hit the 268, but we cannot trust on our teammates to do so. So Bolt is just doing the absolutely right thing of backing off here, getting back into the next cover, where he can and then still aim for the corner. If the 268 is pushing forward, in the best case, he can shoot the side to track him and just keep him in place, allowing him to reload on time. But look at this. He moved back to the next house, back to the next cover, is able to just reload on time. The 268 has to move around the corner, got shot by the teammate as well. yeah, there goes the 268. Horribly misplayed here. Should not have done this at all. Bolt is safe, did not lose a single hit point, and can just sit here, side strafe again, get himself into a safe position. He knows that there is the AMX M4, and most likely the AMX will also be peeking at him. No, it's actually just Sheridan just coming out here, and the Sheridan is just bouncing an APCR shot, just sitting there in the open. E100 with a stock gun, now having insane DPM, is just not struggling with that kind of stuff at all. So there is the kill. Almost 6k damage done here on this game already. Bolt is still pretty much fine. He has hit points. He is just in a comfortable position. Still, the M4 was playing quite well. They are falling back into cover, and he is covered by a 183 as well. 183 just shot. Yeah, getting spotted there. Of course, Bolt can put out a nice shot. Important here for him to notice as well is, well, first of all, there are only 3 tanks remaining. The FE405 has not been spotted in a long time, if at all. And the M4 was falling back. 183 is also one shot now, so he does have a bit of an advantage. Also, we can see a 60 TP here on that hill is getting aggressive like this. If Bolt is moving forwards, he will not be alone, because there will be someone else coming from the other side as well. So they can still work together, even if Bolt is just moving in here. So like this, he does have the option of moving up towards the 183 and can keep up the pressure on the M4. Also really worth considering here is, if you do not really get shot anymore, then it is quite likely that the enemies are doing something else. Maybe they are just falling back and baiting you, waiting for you to do some mistake. Maybe they are just moving to some other target already, so you can do better just looking for someone else. Maybe he could have actually HE'd him here, not sure. Anyways, that's a nice shot with a bit of a fire, and Bolt is about to move towards the enemy spawn, kind of expecting the last enemy to be AFK already, and he is. And actually, yeah, FE405 still full life, about to get, yeah, that's some stolen damage by the teammate here. Still, Bolt had an amazing game of 8.4k, I think, with a bit of fire there. That should be it here. Great game by Bolt, definitely. And like this, he won the first game. 8.3k damage eventually, so still very nice result. And he bounced off 4.8k damage as well. Let's take a look at one more game here. It is a VZ55 played by Hullman16. Hullman playing a tank that recently got an interesting change there. The VZ got to get an autoloader gun with pretty good DPM. Actually, surprisingly, Wargaming gave the VZ a DPM buff, despite also giving it a second shell, so a clip now, and you now have 470 damage, or 480 damage times 2, which is pretty strong, and also very nice accuracy. 4 seconds in between the shots isn't all that great, but still you're having an autoloader with a nice accuracy, decent armor as well. So what Hullman is doing here on this game is playing on Desert Sands. Let me just check something real quick here. On Desert Sands, it's often very important to check the lineup at the start. Yeah, you do see 2 mediums on the other side, on each side. That's always something I want to consider here. How many mediums are there, and which team has the medium advantage? Then there are 2 heavies on his side, 3 heavies on the enemy side, which would already get me to be a little bit worried at this point here, because we can expect the enemies to have an advantage on that heavy side. If they are all coming towards this position here, they might just YOLO in without any hesitation. I mean, they don't need to even think about the game, they just need to go, and Hullman would be in trouble. So I would already consider this kind of information on the lineup and adjust my position and get to be a bit more passive. Maybe just start out, let's look to the side. Maybe I would just start out over here just to be a bit more safe, and maybe put out some early shots before getting aggressive myself. But hey, there is an enemy M103 who already YOLO'd in, already got himself killed. 516 damage dealt by Hullman as well, nicely done. And the next one is standing completely in the open here and trying to side scrape. I don't know, I think he was just trying to look around the corner and get himself stuck in the wall with his long nose. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there, but hey, let's not worry about this. Hallman can farm nicely, does not even have to go for the one-shot. He does have a higher alpha damage, and he's already quite confident in winning this side for good reason. Not much is happening. The CC doesn't really seem to have any clue about what he is doing, so it's absolutely fine to just farm some damage and maybe care about the CC later on. It's a really bad DPM tank anyways. So Hallman is reloading his clip, trying to prepare his clip for the IS-7, who is actually pushing in here. Not entirely sure why, but it was quite well for quite good for Hallman here. So IS-7 is out as well. In the meantime, now that he is reloading his clip, it would be wise to also think about the situation for a moment. That's what you should do whenever you're having the time in-game. And the situation is being that the mediums on the other side won. You can also see that here on the setup over there. 2 mediums out, and the enemies still have the 2 mediums. So the enemies do have a tank advantage right now, despite the push on the heavy side having been quite successful so far. So this means that you will have to be aggressive here on the heavy side now, otherwise you're going to get flanked. The mediums on the other side, they are now free to do whatever. You can already think about what will they be doing. If they are now not having anyone to the front anymore, they might do 2 things. Either they are continuing the flank towards the spawn and killing that guy who is still in the back here. That's a Badger though, who is kind of safe, to be honest, but it's worth maybe looking around and just checking out for such situations. Also, those mediums are still quite healthy. That's important to know for later on potentially. The mediums might also just push towards the middle and try to focus down the push over here together with their teammates. I think that would probably be the best thing to do for the mediums here, to just join the fight over here. Try to focus those guys pushing in. The VZ, the FE405 being fairly easy targets, fairly isolated, and like that the enemies would have a tank advantage with 3 tanks over there, 2 mediums over there, 5 tanks versus 3 over here. And if they then focus the FE405 first, with that weak armor, massive damage output, would be the most important tank to focus. VZ55 should be focused afterwards, and then the E75. So the enemies could definitely win this game here, but they would need to be quick, and I'm going to be interested to see what the enemy mediums are actually doing here, if they are doing anything at all, or if they are just continuing to push into the Badger and struggling. No, they're actually coming towards the middle here, just the right thing. Hallman needs to be quick here at killing some tanks, but also needs to be careful about those mediums coming in from the side. So he should be very careful to not overcommit and not get himself stuck. I mean, sometimes you cannot push forwards, and it's better to just turn back and look at those guys coming from for your rear, so that you can just kill those guys. Okay, tricky situation now. Hallman is alone in a 1 versus 3. The Badger is quite far away, but luckily the Badger over here is also coming over to help in this fight, which is not guaranteed. Otherwise, it's worth considering here, if you are finding yourself that alone, that you need to get towards your teammates, towards your last surviving teammates, so they can support you, because you cannot count on them to come over to you to support you. So you might get the enemies to follow you towards your teammates. So far, he is here with a WT to the back. T62 is a 2-shot, and then there is the Badger. Of course, it would be preferable to just take out the T62. That works out well here with a nice fire and a Maxwell. Great. Track shot here, definitely helpful, just the right thing to do. He can keep the Badger in place for just another moment, so maybe allowing the Badger to come at him and get some shots in. Badger is bouncing 1, putting out another 1. Okay. Hallman has to be careful about the WT still, who can potentially kill him. I think 700 damage is kind of the max roll of the WT nowadays. Not exactly sure about that, maybe a little bit higher. But of course, focusing the Badger is way more important. He can get back, so the Badger can potentially cover him. That was a bit close here. He was trying to angle, move forwards. Maybe he should have rather just escaped a little bit in reverse to make some room for the Badger behind to shoot the Badget. I mean, like this, he was kind of still shielding him. Yeah, I think, anyways, it worked out, luckily. But just a tiny thing to point out here would have been helpful to just make some room for the Badger to help here. Keep the lines of fire in mind. And then this last one, now no Spore Liner on the WT. Yeah, he was kind of a potato, just not really moving into the fight. Now the Badger is hopefully not stealing that kill, because Hallman definitely deserves it. After all this effort he put into the game, he deserves that last kill. And is he going to get it? Yeah, looks like it. Very nice. Very well done here, GG to Hallman as well as Bold. Thanks for those replays. I hope you guys maybe learned one or the other thing on this little video here. Let me know how you like it, if I should continue doing some replay analysis, and maybe also send in your own replays on the Discord server. Link is in the description down below. Thanks for watching. This is Nino. Goodbye.